Yeah.
Sure.
For one more.
Sure.
Okay, so they just, swim escort you. Like, they're riding in their canoe, and they're just like, follow us, eh? We'll take you to the village.
Suddenly they're Canadian.
No, they were always Canadian. So, there's a village right on the beach, and it looks kind of like what you would expect from any island nation. All the houses are on stilts, everything's made out of, readily available materials like palm trees and mud, and there does seem to be some advanced building materials there, like iron and steel, but all of it's unnaturally smooth. Anything that isn't readily available all seems to have been magically fabricated. And a very short man with closed eyes and a blindfold pulled around his nose. It looks like he should be wearing the blindfold, but it's fallen on his face. He says, "Ah, mi Hosek." And he nods towards you.
Nice to meet you, Hosek. My name is Uncle Books. Master Destiny Force has told me to seek you out and take your test.
So he kind of chuckles and looks to the two other canoemen who pulled up with you, and they say, "We are also Hosek. We are all Hosek."
Oh, I beg your pardon.
He says, "You may call me grandfather."
Well, grandfather, I hate to come to you in such a disheveled appearance, but apparently my captain has no taste for my presence and pushed me overboard.
He says, "We had foreseen that."
I am attempting to turn over a new leaf, as they say, and change my ways. However, I understand that first impressions sometimes last longer than you want.
He says, "Yes, I have foreseen that as well." And he pulls his blindfold back up over his eyes, and he says, "Come, follow me." And he starts walking forward with this stick, and the stick kind of makes a rattling noise every time he puts it down. And he takes you to like a teepee in the middle of the village. It seems like it's large enough to hold maybe 8 people. He says, "Come in, come in."
I walk in and repeat any customary bowing or gestures of welcoming.
Okay.
I go in too and repeat.
Go and repeat.
So you sit down before this large, pipe structure. It's very clearly some sort of bone. And he says, "This is the Sweat Lodge. It is here that your tests will begin, Ovarti." He says, "But first we must begin the 3 preparations, the 3 of 3s. And he hands you a bucket of water, a bucket of sand, and 2 pills to each of you. And he says, "Please, you must wash yourself with the water, clean yourself with the sand, and cleanse your body with the purgatives."
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nobody said anything about washing. Hang on.
I oblige.
And so in the process, he just starts taking, his loincloth off and starts washing himself in front of you guys.
I'm not sure how you wash yourself with sand, but
I do that.
When you ask, he demonstrates.
Yeah. I'm going to be like
Obliging.
a step or 2 slow, just watching him so I can repeat the same process.
So is there anyone that's not going through these 3 rituals?
Nope, don't think so.
No.
I'm going to be doing them as well. Sure.
let's do this.
Follow along.
Oh, okay. Captain Ferris stayed on the ship. Very well. That takes away part of my fun from this, but alright. I need everyone that's staying to make a fort save. I'm sorry, everyone that's in the tent to make a fort save.
As we eat the purgatives.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Is it considered a poison?
Oh, yes.
Ugh.
Okay, all three of you
And I
fail.
get, well, I gotta, hang on a second, I've gotta look. I get a
Please tell me I have the bucket
bonus.
handy. Do I have the bucket handy?
No.
Plus 2. Okay.
Okay, that's not enough. So you all feel terrible, and you gain the sickened condition. And you start sweating like crazy. All the work you did cleaning yourself is like ruined as you start stinking up the room. And he just starts nodding and says, "Yes, my children, the purgatives are working. Now we will prepare the next 3 rituals. This is the ritual of construction. I will need your blood, your urine, and your sweat."
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Is he offering any vials to collect these specimens?
Yes.
Okay.
They're
How-
actually like really scientifically, like needles and everything. It's all surprisingly high tech for like an island nation in the middle of nowhere where the houses are made out of mud.
How much blood?
Enough to fill an inch-long cubic inch of container.
Okay, I'll oblige. And sweat's coming off in droves, so
Yep.
I
Yeah.
give all the specimens he requests.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so,
guys don't often see Siegfried out of sorts, but he is completely freaked out about this.
what is going on?
He
Yeah.
just takes these and mixes all of them together and like hands them off to somebody outside the tent and says, "We will prepare your constructs for you." He smiles and says, "This is good, yes."
Wait, constructs?
Yes, it is the ritual of construction.
To know oneself, you must construct yourself.
Right. Apparently Captain Ferris was there the whole time. And finally he says, "Now, we have prepared as the 3rd ritual for what you need." And he snaps his fingers and says, "Daughter, bring them in." And like this, probably like 120-year-old half-elfin woman comes in, and she's wearing like grass skirt and all the island stuff, and just lays down like 5 stones that appear to have dots on the side of them. They're shaped in cubes. And he says, "The stones of chance. Please take one."
There's one missing. Well, there's
Got
an
it.
extra one.
Well, Captain Ferris is there, so there's 5 people,
Okay.
5 sets of stones of chance.
Okay.
And then he goes through some papers, and he's like, "Here are your parchments of fate." And it has like your guys' name on it, and it lists like your history, like really detailed history, stuff that you've never told anybody
What?
is like all on there.
What?
But
Yeah.
that thing that happened at summer camp, no one's supposed to know about that.
Half of the sheet is classified information. How did you get this?
He says, "We are the greatest of us. While we may not see with our eyes, our sight extends far into the future and the past. I have used the fuel of my arcane power to see what you needed to see, and this is what you need to know."
I kind of try to peek over at Siegfried's list. Like,
Brittany
So are you
Gordon,
looking
sorry.
at somebody else's list, Aces?
yeah, I kind of look at
Okay, it looks-
Siegfried.
Other people's lists look blank to you.
Okay. I'm like, huh.
Do you see Aces trying to get to somebody else's list?
Yes, it's really
I smack
obvious.
him on the back of the head.
Okay.
Like, ow.
We
Then
don't own other people's blood. We don't steal other people's backstory.
And he says, "And now I give to you the offering of sacrifice." And he has 5 cups of wine brought out, and he cuts his arm and bleeds into each one and says, "Drink! Drink, and the 3 threes shall be done, and we will be prepared for the ceremony."
Wait, we have
I-
dice and paper.
I swig. I swig it hard, like,
Okay, so 2 questions. One, what color was it added blood?
The blood was like a dark purple.
The wine was dark purple?
Yes, and the blood.
Alright. So his blood isn't normal colored?
It looks to be kind of like venous blood.
And 2, I would like to really, really, really thank you that you did not give us the traditional drink of our people, Mountain Dew.
Yes, I know. I briefly considered having there be lily plants on the edge of the volcano that collected moisture, but it did not go with that. So is anyone not drinking this offering of sacrifice?
Yeah, okay.
We're doing this for books.
I feel very strange doing
So when
this.
you say that, he says, no. No, my grandson. You are doing it for yourself.
Grandson.
There are things you must know.
Okay, does it visibly form
something
a
you didn't tell
separate
us?
layer with the wine, or does it mix?
No, it actually like mixes in really well. No one even stirs it or anything. It just like drops in and just dissipates into it.
I am going to do a good old-fashioned wine tasting, where you twirl it and you sniff it and you do the full check before you drink.
Okay. It actually doesn't smell like blood at all. I mean, you smelled plenty of blood. And it just smells like a really crappy red. Like, this seems to be a really bad vintage.
Can I sense motive of him when he says grandpa? We just call everybody grandson.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't really understand what's happening here. You don't know these people's culture. But he did request you call him grandfather earlier, so...
Okay, I guess.
Can I sense motive that this whole thing is just a giant sick joke?
Are they trying to make clones out of us?
Well, I will respect the local culture.
Okay. So after you guys have all been sickened and all given away, various bodily fluids, he says, "Now I must tell you all before we finish the ceremony that..."
Suckers. No, wait.
You're going to die, and we're going to unleash your
He does
plague
say that. He
clones.
says, "You will die if you do this ceremony. You will die. And you will be reborn on the far side. It will not be pleasant. You will learn things about yourself that you will not want to hear, but you must hear. But the pain may be too much. If you do not think you are ready to go through with it, let me know."
I stand up and say, YOLO. Let's do this.
He says, I do not understand this term YOLO."
You only live once.
He says, "That is not true."
In fact, the exact opposite of what he just
Quite
said.
often. We can do this over and over and over.
Over
I
again.
sense motive if he was being deliberately sarcastic or if he's just dumb.
I'm a half-orc.
I
think
stand
he's-
by my sense.
He's wearing that Mask of Stony demeanor, right?
Yes.
So it's like really hard to tell. Is he being sarcastic? I don't know. And so he says, "If you're prepared, I will leave the Ganj, light up the smoke tents, and I will return in 2 days. If you are still alive at that time, we will celebrate your return to life."
Okay, then.
Alright.
Well, okay, now I'm really lost. Okay.
I'm going to be in here for 2 days.
So he leaves like this pile of like 15 different herbs in the bong right there for you, and puts a smoke stick next to it so you can light it.
I go first.
There's really no going first. I mean, once you light this thing, the whole thing is going to fill up with smoke very quickly.
Okay.
Why am I utterly unsurprised that...
All right. So, Aces, you're lighting it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so we like have this weird like 70s music start playing, and all you guys are tripping out, and you see the camera like do the beer goggles thing, and you like hear a sitar like and it's very clear that you guys are all really high right now. And in fact, I need everyone to make a fort save.
Or
Mushroom
again.
Samba. Ugh.
Yeah, Siegfried might survive.
Okay, you needed a 10, so everybody's...
Now, do we... Are we including the sickened condition as well?
Yes, you'll take a
Ah.
-2 because
Oh.
of the sickened already.
So mine's going to be a
I did
9.
not.
Okay.
9.
10.
So anyone that failed is shaken. Like, this weird stuff's happening to you. You're not really sure what's going on. So let's start with books, just to get this going. Books, you know, everyone else has disappeared around you. Like, the hut is now very darkly lit. It's like there's a spotlight down on you, and you seem to be alone. And you hear a voice calling for you. He's like, Novarti. Novarti. It was DC 10, by the way. And you see someone walk into a second light, and it's Kid Tones. And he begins pacing back and forth, and he says, I am you. A different you.
Come on.
He says, who are you, Novarti?
Well, I was someone who hated... my furnace is going on, so I'm going to type.
Okay. I'm okay with you just talking it out, by the way. This is very important. Confess!
I was an unkind man for most of my life, and I've taken you under my wing because you are my sister's only son. Her death has given me much anger towards humans, and I learned to despise them, and especially Atticus Styles. But now I see that I was wrong, and I have isolated you, and now even until death.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's it.
So when you say that, he tosses a knife at your feet. He says, if you truly believe that you cannot repent, kill yourself now, uncle. And we will meet again in the afterlife.
I was given a lesson learned by my Master Destiny Force, and that was to do no harm, so I will not.
So he like shakes his hand outwardly, and you see like he goes blue, and there's just an outline of him now, and he's like, fool! Very well. You think you can pass the test? Make a charisma check. He says, you are a petty man. You are little more than an old racist, and I hate you. When you die, I will greet you gladly in the devil's afterlife, where you will burn in hell next to me forever, uncle. I will never forgive you. And you like see him fading back, and he's like reaching out towards you, but there's like these blue flames coming out from him, and he fades out, and then we like cut again, like a sharp cut, and it's Aces. He's sitting again in the same teepee. Everything's black, and there's just the spotlight down on him. And you hear walking coming towards you, Aces, like a steady walking. You've heard this walking before. I mean, it's very distinctive. And you recognize it as the man walks into view. It's your torturer, Big Head Burton, who tortured you every day for 10 years. And he says, I am you, Maelstrom. A different you. Who are you?
I speak up. I am revenge. The last cry of my people.
He says, you are a pathetic man. I broke you every day for 10 years. The only way you could escape was through the kindness of strangers. You are weakness.
But yet I'm here. alive, breathing,
Okay.
and I'll be coming for you one day.
He tosses a knife at your feet. He says, if you think that you are not capable of taking your revenge, you can kill yourself now.
I pick up a knife. This knife is for you.
Okay, make a charisma check.
Psh.
You are a coward, and weak, and little more than a slave. When next we meet, you will die a horrifying death, and your soul will be mine in the afterlife. Ha 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 ha! And like he sort of fades back from view, like he bursts into the blue ghostly outline and fades from view. And as that happens, again, sharp cut, and we see Kamakere sitting on the floor with the spotlight coming down on him. The rest of the teepee seems to be empty. And Kamakere,
Yes.
you hear like a ironic slow clap. And a man shuffles into view that you recognize. It seems to be Azalea Thrune.
Mm.
And he says, I am you, a different you. You are a fool. Why did you run from me, my most precious student? I do not know what caused you to abandon our lifestyle, but it would seem that you were tricked by others. I accept you as the greatest of my assassins. Return to me, and you can once again become my favored student. Who are you?
I am an assassin. I do what others fear. I spill the blood of others, if others may wish, and I do dirty work.
He says, interesting.
But I heard it from your lips, Master. You would have me killed.
He tosses a knife at your feet and says, if you truly believe that I would want you killed, you would know that you would be dead already. If that is the case, simply kill yourself now and save me the trouble.
I don't think I will do that.
Okay, make a charisma check. You are a pathetic. You could have been great, but your own fears hold you back. You are the son of a legend, but you are little more than a footnote. He begins laughing again and, goes into like a blue outline and turns and walks away from you and then bursts out of existence. Then we get a sharp cut again to Master Scourge sitting alone. Oh no! Is everybody still here? Wow, we lost Scourge just in time for his mystic trip to begin starting.
Oh.
Oh no!
I was excited.
Breakfast.
Craig, we have you back? Craig?
Tanks down.
Snake!
Scourge!
Dun, dun,
Scourge!
dun, 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 dun.
Oh, wait a minute. Something got typed.
There was Lorraine.
Yeah, that was me.
I'm about to kick back, lean back.
Craig,
I see
can you hear
his-
us?
Sorry, I'm talking to the mute button. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So we cut into the scene. It's Scourge sitting alone in the teepee, spotlights on him, and there's a noise getting closer and closer to him, and you see
Don't
a
jump
man. He seems unfamiliar to you, and he says, "No, no, sit down, Scourge."
No thanks.
And you notice he has a very distinctive whip at his belt.
Okay. Like the one that he carries, that Scourge carries?
Yep. He says, I
Yep.
am you, a different you. Who are you, Scourge?
I am Scourge. You may have gone before, but I am Scourge.
He starts laughing. He says, I was the first Scourge. You would be nothing
Ah,
without
shut
me."
up. I'll charge him and headbutt him.
Okay, so you headbutt him, you pass right through him, and he bursts into blue,
Yep.
and he says, I would expect nothing less. He throws a knife at your feet, and it says, you are not worthy of my legend. If you think that you cannot live with it, simply kill yourself now. Save me the trouble of finding a new heir.
Okay, pick up the knife, swing it at him, see if I can stab him with
Okay,
it.
you like he separates into two and then reforms back into one as you pass through him. Can you make a charisma check? All right, so he says,
Holy
impressive.
It's not bad for a -3.
Holy shit. I'm the only one with a positive modifier, and I rolled like a 4.
He says, your spirit is strong, Scourge. Perhaps I underestimated you. Hold and stop swinging.
All right, I'll listen.
He reaches out and he touches you on the forehead. And you feel warm there for a moment, and he says, I will always be with you, Scourge. And he just poofs out of existence. Unlike the other ones, he doesn't turn and walk away. He just, like, he's there and then gone. Ferris, can you
okay.
make a perception check?
Probably not.
Okay. You hear some murmuring. You know, you're sitting in the same situation with the spotlight on you, but you hear murmuring coming from behind you. And someone hobbles into view. Like this woman, she's old and wrinkly. She wears like this tattered dress. She's got like a black hood up. And then she pulls it down, and she looks like a very, very old version of what you might look like in about, 60, 70 years. And she says, you are me, child. I am the necromancer. And who are you?
At this point, I am an embodiment of exasperation. Would you like to have a seat?
She says, so kind. So kind. She pulls up a seat next to you, and, there's the spotlight shining down on each of you. And whenever she, like, reaches a hand outside the spotlight, instead of being, like, flesh and blood, it just turns into, like, the blue ghost outline, and she, raises a hand towards you and says, soon I will find you, and you will be mine, little girl.
Well, I apologize. I mean, I certainly know the irritation of looking and failing to find things. I do have one question, though.
Ask.
If you're me,
She
please
laughs
tell
and
me.
she says, ha 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 ha.
I reach out and I clasp her hand, I look her deep in the eyes, and I say, please tell me Uncle Books dies a painful death for wasting my time like this.
So, unlike the other people, you don't pass through her. You, like, hit solid flesh. Even the part that's, like, a blue ghostly outline. And she says, were you not listening, foolish child? You are me.
That's why I wanted to know.
And she, like, places a knife in your hand and says, save me the trouble.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. If you have the power to bring people back to life, do they have to be in the same form as when they die, or can you improve the body?
Can you make a charisma check?
Okay. Let's see here. What's that modifier? Make me open a character sheet. Because I'm just saying, if you're me, I mean, you seem to find that body rather stiff and uncomfortable. Would it be possible for me to help you freshen up and regain a younger form? I mean, I know that me certainly wouldn't want to be walking around